Coming up on this week's show, we're day tripping across the UK.
And through here, and this way. Good boy.
So let's go. It's been a record-breaking summer with temperatures soaring and tourism bouncing back after 2 years of stop-start travel restrictions. And earlier this year, we dropped in on some of the UK's top attractions to meet the people getting us excited about travel again and hear how they've had to adapt to survive. If you were watching last week, you will have seen how Inverness in the far north of Scotland is sprucing up their castle and how local businesses adapted to meet changing demands. But this week we're looking back at what the story was in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, starting with that great northern powerhouse and football and cultural hub, Manchester. So this is no ordinary taxi ride. Hello.
So, and I've organised the weather for you today as well. Not that I needed to, because it's always sunny in Manchester.
So if you book with you,
Yeah,
there is guaranteed sunshine.
Guaranteed sunshine.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Heard it, yeah. So I've asked for a route that traces the history of the city to see how it shaped the Manchester that we know today. I won't spoil the tour, but the city's been a hotbed of innovative thinkers. It's where the suffragettes movement was born. It's where the Duke of Bridgewater brought canals, which cut the price of coal in half, spurring Manchester to be the world's first industrial city. And it's where Karl Marx formed his ideas for the Communist Manifesto, at this very spot, which happens to be in the world's oldest English-speaking library.
Even people from Manchester don't realise that you can come in here and actually soak up the atmosphere, isn't it?
So it's definitely worth booking an appointment and coming here.
Come on, Kat, you ready for part 2? You look so excited.
I don't know which one I want to start with first.
I was thinking about how I could do something different. Maybe people were nervous about being in crowds or being in places where there was a lot of people. That the afternoon tea taxi tour would be ideal because you're all encapsulated in the back of the taxi. It's proved really popular. I have to pinch myself sometimes.
Because how was it as a taxi driver during lockdown?
It's really, really difficult. And as a tour guide as well, there was no tourists. And it's just starting to come back again now as the restrictions start to end.
So you think this is something you're going to continue then?
I'm definitely going to continue it, yeah.
Before the pandemic, Manchester was the third most visited city in the UK after London and Edinburgh by international visitors. And one huge draw is its iconic music scene. Famous bands to have come out of Manchester.
Stone Roses.
Oasis,
The Smiths.
Simply Red.
Elbow.
Okay, not had Elbow.
Ah, really?
But to find the bands of tomorrow, the Northern Quarter is where to go. It's home to some of the city's liveliest music venues. So I've come to Night and Day Cafe. Over the years, it's gained legendary status for showcasing big-named bands in their early days. What was it like to suddenly play in front of a live audience again?
Kind of strange at first, wasn't it? But
yeah, it was quite. I remember being really nervous.
Okay, check the drums.
It's definitely picking up, it's different, isn't it now? I think people are more confident to come out now and stand in crowds, which there wasn't before.
And it's that return of confidence in people that's breathing life back into venues like this. I'll be back later for the gig, but there's one more thing I need to do. So I'm no football expert, but I do know that it was here in Manchester that the first professional football league was set up back in 1888. I've been told if you can't make a game, it's well worth doing a stadium tour.
First, before we begin, how many of us are from Manchester?
That's a big group that's not come from Manchester.
Football is undoubtedly the city's biggest cultural export, with hundreds of millions of fans either supporting Man United or Man City globally. Not that anyone would openly admit supporting the former here. Is this the best bit so far? Go on then, which is your favourite one? Okay. They just got all the kids to line up at the top of the tunnel and walk out through the pitch side. It was so cute. You've just walked through the tunnel?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was fun. I actually kind of felt like a footballer, because that's actually my dream job, to be a footballer.
How long have you wanted to walk through that tunnel?
9 years almost.
9 years?
Yeah.
Because it's your birthday, right?
Yeah, it's my birthday on Monday.
Okay, so is this the best birthday present?
Probably, yeah. Best birthday present I've ever had by a mile.
Mum, don't cry. Time to get back to see the gig, as it wouldn't be a complete day in Manchester if you didn't experience some of its famous nightlife. Manchester is definitely springing back from a very tough few years. But what struck me most is how proud the Mancunians are of their city, a cultural hotspot of the north. Well, after my day out in Manchester, for a complete change of pace, I headed off over the Pennines into Staffordshire for the ultimate thrill-seekers day out. Hello from Alton Towers, the largest theme park in the UK. Now, it's just opened for the season without any government restrictions in place, and although it's been around for over 40 years, I have a confession to make. This is my first time here, so let's go. Sprawling over 900 acres, this was once the residence of the Earls of Shrewsbury. And being a theme park novice, I've enlisted some help.
We're about to do the 3 rides that they've got up on the stratosphere.
Sean Sambrook is a full-time roller coaster vlogger with a lot of followers.
No worries. Oh,
Sean, are you a celebrity?
I wouldn't say that. I'm just someone that loves theme parks and loves sharing my adventures, but it's all good fun. I love it.
I think I can guess what we're going to go on, but just confirm it.
We're going on Nemesis.
Nemesis is a classic and is Europe's first ever inverted coaster. It also happens to be Sean's favourite. It's an aggressive start to the day. My first ride.
It's intense, but it's great. I love it so much. 4 times you go upside down on that ride.
That was really fun, actually.
Amazing.
It was fun.
I feel like that's a great photo, that.
It's strange to think it was only a short time ago attractions like this fell silent. But this is a place that has a long history of embracing change. Before it was a theme park, its main attraction was its gardens.
During lockdown, it was an opportunity to get people back out into some fresh air. So we were able to clear some of the pathways that were not necessarily used previously. And people could come back to Alton Towers and revisit it as, its intended purpose for a great garden.
And for a little bit of escapism too.
Of course, yeah, because obviously the Earl of Shrewsbury wanted to collect all of these elements from around the world. We've got the Dutch gardens behind us, the pagoda fountain, which was Eastern in origin. We've got Grecian mixed in with the Gothic architecture of the time.
Well, the gardens have been perfect to change the pace, but with over 40 rides and attractions, I better cross a few more off my list. I've been told there's one ride I simply have to try. It's called the Smiler, and it's even collected its own following of superfans that cosplay in the colours of the ride. Guys, you look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, tell me about Smiler.
And I first saw the ride and I was just completely awestruck with it. From then on, it just became a big, massive obsession. And now this is how I dress daily now.
I started a like group.
So you started this website and that's how you all became friends because you
Yeah.
organised meetups here.
This is the first time we've met with each other.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So this has been a long time coming then.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still not sure if I want to commit to this ride. It's the world's first 14-loop roller coaster and promises to challenge both your body and your mind. Meet Instagrammer Rollercoaster Rachel and her 10-year-old daughter Sappy, who has yet to ride the Smiler. But is she finally tall enough?
We think so if we've checked right. We hope so, yeah, we hope so. Yeah, we've been checking home, marking her off on the wall.
Well, now I have no excuse. Wish us luck.
This is scary.
After my day here, I can see places like this mean more to people than thrill-seeking alone.
I work in healthcare, I work in elderly care, and it was quite tough during lockdown and things, so to be able just to come back, it was amazing. I class Alton Towers as my little piece of heaven on earth. That's how it makes me feel.
Well, one thing that became clear during all those months of lockdown and travel restrictions was just how much everyone values open spaces and fresh air. Which is why a while back we sent Lucy to the heart of rural mid-Wales to find out how COVID helped to create a totally new outdoor experience.
The national park is home to over 1,000 farms largely dedicated to livestock. And with over 250,000 visitors a year, one particularly savvy farmer has developed an interesting business model, trekking with sheep.
He's checking me out. He's just checking, I'm all good.
His problem is he can't really see very well because his hair is so long, it's in his face.
Meet Patches, my new pal for the afternoon.
Do you want more food? I need to prove that I'm your friend. Oh, that feels really weird on my hand. You've got a very warm tongue there, Patches. Come on. Patches, you can have more food in a moment.
The plan is to follow a trail around the farm with my fluffy companion.
He's pretty obedient. Sometimes he kind of veers to the left or right and I feel like I'm the one being walked.
It turns out to be trickier than it looks.
Come on, Patches. Come on. So, Nicola, since lockdown, have you seen demand for this experience growing?
Yeah, so a lot of people want to be outside in the open air. This experience, because we're able to be distanced, there isn't so much pressure on that, and people just enjoy being with the sheep and being able to stroke the sheep and actually being able to physically be around them, whereas normally they just see them in the fields and they run away. When we first opened, it was quite slow. We didn't really have that many people. I think people were a bit wary. They were a bit like, oh, really? Walking sheep? Never, not actually heard of that before. We started it because it was similar to alpaca trekking, but with sheep, it's more native. And we ourselves were used to looking after sheep, whereas alpacas were something a bit different and a bit scary.
Now, before I head off, Nicola says she's got one more surprise in store. Welcome to Wales's very own Crufts-inspired goat agility training course.
So the easiest one to start with is probably this one. They come up, then you can give them a little bit of food, and then they'll walk down the other side.
Alrighty. Up you go. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Climb, climb, yeah!
Yay!
Here we go.
Yay! Well done!
This way. Good boy. I'm getting tangled in the lid.
Yeah.
And through here, and this way. Good boy. So, how did you start with these agility courses?
We've seen that dogs do agility. We've actually seen pony and horse agility.
Yep.
And we've seen some videos on YouTube of people doing sheep agility. And we thought, we'll have a go.
Why not?
And goats love to climb.
Yes.
They love to just jump and just cause havoc.
Yeah.
So we thought, why not have a go and see whether they enjoy it? And they seem to love climbing things.
Yeah, I was going to say, they do seem to really enjoy this. And they're learning as well.
Exactly. These guys are only about 16 weeks old now.
Yeah.
They haven't been doing it that long. So it's all new to them and they're just loving every minute of it, really.
Yeah. So what's the purpose? Obviously, you've said to me they're learning skills, but do they compete?
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
We haven't seen any goat agility competitions yet.
Yeah. It's always the first for everything.
Exactly. Maybe we'll enter in some dog agility with the goats. I'm sure we'll get some funny looks.
Yeah, I'm sure. Come on.
Lucy there in the beautiful Brecon Beacons. Well, for our last adventure, I crossed the Irish Sea to visit Northern Ireland, a place that's sometimes missed off the map when it comes to the UK's most amazing attractions. But as I found out, this part of the Emerald Isle really does deserve to be on everyone's bucket list.
Hello from Belfast. Now I've just flown in, but my plan is to head straight out of the city and explore the Causeway coastal route. Now the capital is the perfect starting point to tackle the 120-mile road trip, which hugs the northeast coastline. So let's go.
To make this trip a bit more sustainable, I've hired an electric car.
Whilst it's certainly possible to drive the whole route in a day, you definitely won't have time to stop at all the sites, and there are a lot of sites. However, I've made a plan and I know where I'm going to hit first.
This little waterfall is Welsh's Gully.
Right, so we've made it down to the start of the path.
This is the original sign from 1902. Watch your head coming through here.
Oh. The Gobbins is a 3-mile walk along the cliff path. Before COVID, half the visitors came from abroad.
But during COVID, obviously nobody could travel, so they all wanted to come and do their staycation with us.
How have you found it?
That was brilliant, really good, very enjoyable.
The path was conceptualised by the civil engineer Barclay Dean Wise. He helped bring the railway system to Northern Ireland, and he wanted to create a unique attraction for people to take the train to. This is the original day trip, isn't it? From Belfast?
It is the original day trip from Belfast.
Long dresses and heels.
Long dresses and heels, wide-brimmed hats, the lot. But they would have come along here for the day. The same we have been doing during COVID.
Yeah.
Doing our day trips, just anywhere within Ireland or locally.
So in some ways, COVID and what's happened over the last 2 years has almost brought back the spirit of the Gobbins.
It's come full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next stop is an hour up the coast, but then I need to take a little detour off. Welcome to the dark Hedges, one of the most photographed natural phenomena in Northern Ireland, mostly due to a particular TV show. Well, where are you from?
Barcelona.
From London.
We're from British Columbia, Canada.
Oh wow, you've come a long way. Yes. And what brings you to the dark Hedges?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we've seen every episode, haven't we?
Yeah. If you're wondering, this is the scene that's made it so popular. Adrian runs a Game of Thrones tour business. He calls himself the other Sir Davos, as he was actually an extra and body double in the TV series.
The trees have been here for over 247 years, mostly unknown, until Game of Thrones came along and decided to use it for a tiny little part of a scene in season 2. And then that kind of put it on the map.
So as a tour guide now, how have you found it over the past few years?
Most tourism completely shut down, and it gave it an opportunity to kind of recover from the over-tourism.
Yeah.
You know.
Did it get quite damaged then?
Especially the verges.
Right.
You know, even though the road is closed, and it has been closed to traffic since 2017, it gave it a chance to recover a little bit, you know.
Now that's ticked off my list, I'm headed back out to the coast. It's only 15 minutes up to a place that's just reopened after 2 years. This is the Carrick-a-Reed rope bridge, first built by salmon fishermen over 250 years ago. Woo, it's pretty bouncy. Up until the 70s, this was just a single rope bridge with a handful of gapped planks. So I'm super glad it's been updated, because this is amazing and I wouldn't have done it back then. Much like at the Dark Hedges, the National Trust says it's noticed how nature has recovered on the site with fewer people going. Now numbers are limited to help nature thrive, so if you want to cross the bridge and explore the little island, you have to pre-book online first. From Carrick-a-Reed, it's a beautiful drive along the coast, passing some noteworthy sights from Ballantoy Harbour, the Giant's Causeway, the beautiful Dunluce Castle ruins, and then to Portrush, which will be where I end my trip. But first, did you know that this area is home to the oldest licensed whisky distillery in the world? Bushmills was granted its license by King James I in 1608. And fortunately for me, their tours have just kick-started again after a 2-year hiatus.
So really, to get it from the barrel, so we always like a little bit of ceremony. So
don't drop any.
Into the barrel, not a drop to be spilled down because it's such precious liquid. You have a nose. Do you get these lovely, it's very friendly on your tongue, so very vanilla, toasted wood. Really with Bushmills it's very friendly on your palate, so it actually draws you in. And actually put it to your ear, it's saying, try me, drink me, you love me.
It's been a packed schedule, but I've heard there's no better way to end your day in Northern Ireland than at a traditional family-run pub.
We're lucky we have live music at least once a week. It's great to get musicians back in the bar as well because they're the life and soul of it and they create the atmosphere, you know.
Oh, we're starting again. So much of the Causeway coastal route relies on tourism, and now with the last of the attractions finally reopen in time for summer, it seems this part of the Emerald Isle is back in business and ready to extend that famous Irish hospitality.